In the heart of the Pine Barrens, a place where the trees seem to whisper secrets of a bygone era, a documentary crew led by Evelyn Shaw, a woman with a voracious appetite for the truth and a healthy dose of skepticism, sets out to unravel the threads of a legend as old as the colonies themselves, the curse of the Jersey Devil. Drawing inspiration from the methodical, science-driven horror that Mira Grant, Sinan McGuire, is celebrated for, Evelyn and her team, consisting of Theo, a biologist who finds beauty in the grotesque, Lara, a tech specialist with a knack for capturing the unseeable, and Raj, a historian whose knowledge of folklore is as deep as it is unsettling, venture into the wilderness, armed with cameras, recording equipment, and an insatiable curiosity that borders on obsession. Their quest is not merely to document, but to dissect, to peel away the layers of myth and see what, if anything, lies at the heart of the Jersey Devil's tale. They seek not just to tell a story, but to challenge it, to test it against the cold, hard rigors of scientific scrutiny. They interview locals whose families have lived in the shadow of the legend for generations, comb through archives for any shred of empirical evidence, and set up night vision cameras in the most reputed haunts of the creature, all in the pursuit of a truth they are increasingly convinced must exist. But as the days turn into nights, and the eerie sounds of the Barrens encroach upon their camp, Evelyn and her crew begin to realize that some legends resist dissection. Strange occurrences, equipment malfunctions, and chilling discoveries suggest that the story they came to challenge might be more real and more terrifying than they ever imagined. They came to expose the myth of the Jersey Devil, but what they find thrusts them into the heart of a new story, one in which they are not merely observers, but participants. In the tradition of Mira Grant, where science meets the supernatural, the crew must confront the possibility that some truths are better left undiscovered, and some curses are very much alive. As the night deepens, the Pine Barrens transform from a place of scientific inquiry into a realm of whispered threats and unseen watchers. The crew, now huddled closer to the fire, tries to shake off the creeping dread that has settled over them like a shroud. Evelyn, ever the leader, attempts to rally their spirits with reminders of the purpose that brought them here, to shine a light on the truth, no matter how deeply it might be buried in legend and shadow. But the forest has a different story to tell tonight. A sudden chill sweeps through the camp, snuffing out the fire in a hiss of smoke and leaving them in near total darkness. The only light comes from the glow of their equipment screens, now flickering erratically as if disturbed by an unseen force. Lara scrambles to stabilize the feed from their night vision cameras, her fingers trembling not from the cold but from a rising panic. Then, out of the silence, comes the sound that freezes them all, a low, mournful howl that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Theo, the biologist, whispers what they're all thinking, that no known animal in the Pine Barrens makes a sound quite like that. It's too human to be an animal, yet too distorted to be human. Raj, with a historian's respect for the power of the past, suggests they might have inadvertently trespassed into a domain where the Jersey Devil reigns unchallenged. His words, meant to be calming, only served to heighten the crew's anxiety. They had come to document, perhaps even debunk, but now they find themselves pondering a more primal question: have they become part of the legend themselves? As they gather their courage and their equipment, preparing to investigate the source of the howl, a series of quick, sharp movements catches their eye on the monitors. The cameras, previously focused on the dense underbrush and gnarled trees, now reveal fleeting glimpses of a figure, impossibly tall, with glowing eyes and wings that unfurl with a sound like tearing silk. It moves with a grace that belies its grotesque form, a nightmare given shape in the moonlit night. The documentary crew, once driven by the desire for truth, now finds themselves caught in a desperate bid for survival. The legend they sought to uncover is not just alive but aware, and it seems to have its own interest in them. Their mission has changed. It's no longer about proving or disproving the existence of the Jersey Devil. It's about making it through the night, keeping the cameras rolling not to capture evidence, but to leave a warning for those who might follow in their footsteps, drawn by the same mixture of curiosity and arrogance that brought them to this haunted forest. As they move, cautiously now, towards the source of the disturbances, each member of the crew feels the weight of the eyes upon them, the gaze of something ancient and unfathomable. They realize too late that some legends are better left alone, the truths too terrible to be told. But the story of their encounter with the Jersey Devil will be told, one way or another, woven into the tapestry of tales that make up the cursed history of the Pine Barrens. As the night wears on, the Pine Barrens become a stage for a terrifying spectacle that Evelyn and her crew could never have anticipated. The creature, once a mere shadow flitting between the trees, now reveals itself in full, monstrous glory. The Jersey Devil, with its leathery wings unfurled and eyes burning like coals in the darkness, emits a screech that is both a war cry and a death knell. It's a sound that reverberates through the forest, shaking the very earth beneath their feet. The crew, paralyzed by fear, watches as the creature swoops down upon them, its claws extended like the spears of ancient warriors. Lara is the first to react, her survival instincts kicking in. She grabs a camera, intending to use it as a makeshift weapon, but the Jersey Devil is swift. It snatches the device from her hands, crushing it with ease, sending shards of metal and plastic spraying like shrapnel. Lara screams, a gash on her cheek from the debris, blood welling up and dripping down her face in stark contrast to her pale skin. Theo, in a desperate attempt to distract the creature, throws a flare into the air. The bright, red light illuminates the scene with a hellish glow, casting long, twisted shadows. For a moment, the Jersey Devil recoils, its sensitive eyes betrayed by the sudden burst of light. This provides them a momentary reprieve, a chance to regroup and find a means of escape. But the creature is relentless. Angered by the assault on its senses, it becomes more aggressive. Raj, trying to protect the others, finds himself face to face with the beast. He stumbles backward, tripping over a root. The fall saves him from a deadly swipe of the creature's claws, but not from witnessing the horror that unfolds next. Evelyn, always the leader, shouts for her crew to make a run for the van parked at the edge of their campsite. But as they turn to flee, the Jersey Devil descends upon Mark, the sound technician who had been trying to capture every moment on audio. The creature lifts him into the air with ease, his screams echoing through the night until they are abruptly silenced. The crew, forced to leave behind one of their own, runs with a mix of terror and guilt weighing down their every step. They reach the van, their sanctuary in the midst of chaos, and pile in. Evelyn, with shaking hands, turns the key in the ignition, but the vehicle sputters and dies. The Jersey Devil, having toyed with its prey, now looms over the van, its breath fogging up the windows as it peers inside, savoring the fear. In a last, desperate act, Evelyn finds the flare gun Theo had brought along for emergencies. She fires it directly at the creature, hitting it in the chest. The Jersey Devil rears back, screeching in pain and rage as the flare ignites its fur. For a moment, it seems they might have a chance to escape as the creature retreats into the darkness, its cries a haunting reminder of the night's terror. But the victory is short-lived. The van, damaged during the ordeal, refuses to start, leaving them stranded as the forest around them grows quiet once more, a quiet that is far from reassuring. They know the creature is still out there, possibly biding its time for revenge. The documentary crew, now survivors of a horror they can barely comprehend, huddle together, knowing the night is far from over. Their ordeal has transformed from a quest for truth into a battle for survival, with the Pine Barrens as their unforgiving arena. In the suffocating darkness of the Pine Barrens, the documentary crew's van becomes a claustrophobic cage of despair. The Jersey Devil, its cries echoing through the night like the wails of the damned, circles above, a relentless predator playing with its prey. The flare's glow has faded, leaving them in near total darkness, their breaths coming in short, sharp gasps as they wait for the inevitable. Suddenly, the van shakes violently as the creature lands atop it, the sound of its claws scraping against the metal roof a horrifying promise of the carnage to come. Inside, the crew scrambles, their earlier resolve dissolving into primal fear. Evelyn, her leadership now a burden too heavy to bear, locks eyes with her team, each glance a silent apology for the fate she has led them to. Without warning, the roof caves in, the force of the impact sending shards of glass and metal slicing through the air. Blood-curdled screams fill the confined space as the creature makes its first brutal assault. Theo, brave but foolish, lunges forward with a makeshift spear, only to be met with a swipe of the Jersey Devil's taloned hand. The sound of tearing flesh is drowned out by his screams, a visceral reminder of their mortality. Lara and Raj, driven by a surge of adrenaline, manage to open the van doors, their only thought to escape the carnage. But the forest, once a place of scientific curiosity, now seems to conspire against them, its trees like prison bars trapping them in this nightmare. The creature, emboldened by the taste of blood, descends upon them with renewed fury. Lara, her face a mask of terror, is caught in its grasp, her fate sealed with a bone-chilling crunch that silences her screams forever. Raj, witnessing the horror, feels a gut-wrenching mix of grief and guilt as he stumbles away, the last vestiges of hope dying in his heart. Evelyn, the weight of her decisions crushing her, makes a final stand. With a flare gun in one hand and a camera in the other, she faces the Jersey Devil, determined to document this nightmare for the world to see, if she survives. The creature hesitates, its intelligent eyes reflecting a malice born of centuries of legend and fear. In a moment of eerie silence, broken only by the ragged breaths of predator and prey, Evelyn fires the flare directly into the creature's maw, a desperate bid for survival. The resulting explosion is a beacon of light in the darkness, a fleeting victory that sends the Jersey Devil retreating into the night, its screeches a testament to its rage and pain. As dawn breaks over the Pine Barrens, the forest is silent once more. The van lies in ruins, a testament to the night's terror. Evelyn, battered and bloodied, is the sole survivor, her mind a whirlwind of grief and disbelief. Around her, the forest begins to stir, indifferent to the human tragedy that unfolded within its depths. The camera, miraculously still recording, captures her final words, a warning to those who would seek to uncover the truths best left hidden in the shadows. Some legends are real, and they have teeth. The Jersey Devil, wounded but alive, watches from the darkness, its legend not only intact, but strengthened by the night's events. The Pine Barrens, its silent witness, holds the secrets of the night close, a reminder that some horrors are too real, and some curses, too cruel to escape.